Here we go. All right, so yeah. By the way, I lost my voice. So, it's funny because actually, my sweetheart and I were out yesterday, and I was trying to talk to people and everything, and I was listening to myself, and I was like, wow, this is this is awful. But anyway, so what do I want to talk about in this video? I feel like there are quite a few things that I want to talk about. So let's start with putting yourself first. I know that this is something that I've been talking about in more recent videos, but it's really important to explore this. So, yeah, the more I cough, the I guess the better sound, anyway, the better my voice gets. I don't know. Hopefully this goes away soon. Yeah, so I think that it's kind of like important to. I think it's kind of important to explore this idea of putting yourself first. Because I have spent my entire life doing the exact opposite. I've literally spent my entire life doing the exact opposite. And so now I'm like, what does Chris want? What does Chris need first before anything else? And it's interesting because a lot of people would take that as selfish and everything, and it is what it is. I'd rather be called selfish, even though I know I'm not, and be fulfilled because I'm actually taking care of my wants and needs first, than, live many years and then some point down the line find myself in a sincere amount of regret. That's not okay to me. That's not okay to me. But a lot of people get caught up in this idea that putting yourself first is selfish, and they can't bear to experience the feelings of selfishness, or of course, the opinions of others, whatever. But I think it's really interesting how I am here now with all of these ideas of who I am, what I want, putting myself first, what that means. It's kind of like, I don't know why it's kind of like this, but it's kind of like you're on the Titanic and all that momentum, you found out there's a fucking iceberg in front of you, and all of that momentum is kind of like steering you in that direction, and steering out of the way of that is actually really hard because of all of the momentum that pushes you that way. And so kind of like what we're used to, again, here we go, going back into the what you're used to will use you. If you're used to living that way, it's actually going to be very challenging to step outside of that because you've got an entire life's worth of experience. Well, not entire life's worth, years or decades worth of experience in terms of the pursuit of putting everyone else first. But this also goes back into, crazy things, crazy beliefs that you learned about yourself growing up that were actually not true. So it's crazy. But yeah, now. By the way, now, what I want to talk about is... Okay, so there's this idea of putting yourself first, right? And then there's this idea of following through, right? Not only following through for yourself, but also following through for others. Just having the audacity to say that you're going to do something and actually fucking do it. And this has been something that's been fucking hard for me because trauma. So what's very interesting about this is it's it's important to follow through with what you say you're going to do because that builds discipline within you. It doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter what it is. You say you're going to do something, do it. That's all there is to it, right? And I think that a lot of people have a very hard time with that for many different reasons, right? And when you see it clearly for what it is, and like you recognize, like, okay, like you said that you're going to do this, and you now have the responsibility of following through, right? By the way, I need to make this very clear because I think that this is actually kind of like in the gray area for a lot of people. So the fact of the matter is that if you have a goal, right? If you set yourself up with a goal, if you are doing something that you want to do, right? And then one day you wake up. Now there's nothing wrong with waking up and like deciding, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, after you, like, I don't know. After you were doing it for a month or for a few months or for multiple months or a year or multiple years, and you just wake up one day and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But let me make this very clear. When you're doing something consistently that you want to do, that you've been doing for a fucking long time, and you know it's something that you want to do, and you know that if you do it, it will be beneficial for you, not doing that is not going to be beneficial for you. That's just all there is to it. Now, again, like I was saying before, there's nothing waking up. There's nothing wrong with waking up and being like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. But there's a difference between waking up and just being like, yeah, I'm fucking exhausted from that. I don't want to do that anymore. There's a difference between that, and there's a difference between that and basically like looking at your situation and being like, okay, I woke up, I feel like shit, I don't feel like doing what it is that I normally do. But that I normally do is what I know I enjoy doing and what I actually do want to do. So, the good fucking idea is going to be to do that, even if you don't want to do it. Because I can tell you right now, not doing it, you're going to wake up the next day and be like, fuck, I've been consistent this entire time, but then I decided to not follow through. Yeah, no, that's not good. By the way, if you're somebody who finds yourself, this goes back into Joe Dispenza stuff. This goes back into Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff. If you find somebody, it does not matter who you are. It does not matter who you are. It does not matter how this works. It does not matter how this works. None of that stuff matters. If you find yourself waking up on a daily basis and you find your experiences of your day-to-day life to be consisting of low energy, negative stuff, thoughts and feelings, and you just keep waking up with that, you just continue to wake up with that every day, your life it's a very good chance that your life's going to stay that way, right? The reason why it's important to talk about this is because I know that a lot of people don't do things because they wake up and they're just not in the fucking mood to do it because whatever reason, right? There's a difference between not wanting to do something because you genuinely don't want to do it because it just doesn't work for you anymore, and not wanting to do something because you're just in a fucking bad mood, but you know that thing that you've been doing for, however long it's been, you actually, you want for yourself and you're in the pursuit of it, and you're just not in a good mood, two differences right there. But the thing that I wanted to jump into regarding Dr. Joe Dispenza is, okay, going back to what I was saying regarding, like, the whole, like, whatever's going on in here, if you're waking up every single day reinstilling all of those things, the thoughts and emotions into your system, into your being, into all that stuff, you're going to stay that way. By the way, let me make this very clear. You also have the ability to wake up and to choose the opposite, to choose joy, to choose happiness, euphoria, ecstasy, right? there's a good chance that at some point in your life you experienced emotions of joy or, you know, other elevated emotions, euphoria, just like, you know, like all the, you know, like the good shit. So therefore, you have experience, even if it's small, even if it's for a very short period of time. You have experience regarding how that feels. Every single day, waking up, programming yourself with all that stuff gets you the fuck out of the low energy bullshit. Just the way that it is. I've had several talks with my sweetheart on behalf of this. What you're tuning into creates your experience of life. That's all. She's also a huge fan. My sweetheart. She's also a huge fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza and just everything that he talks about. And everything that he talks about is very interesting, because it's like, it's wild how it all works. But following through with what you say you're going to do is absolutely important. It's important for yourself. It's important for the people in your life. It's important for all that stuff. And if you don't do it, it's not going to be beneficial for you. If you don't follow through, it's not going to be beneficial for you. You need to follow through. You need to do what you say. You need to do what you say you're going to do. That's just it. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about in this video? Anything else? Take as much... let me try that again. Take as much responsibility for yourself as you can, possibly. The amount of things in your life that you are actually in control of, if you put things into perspective and if you actually realize it, will blow your fucking mind. It's just crazy. It's just all there is to it. Put all of the responsibility on yourself. Responsibility and accountability. Accountability. That's an even bigger thing here. I mean, they kind of both go hand in hand, but taking a look at accountability, the amount of happiness that brings to any given individual, you really got to punch through some serious belief systems, some serious barriers, though. You know, like, there's a good chance that you grew up with belief systems and ideologies that fucked you up, and continuing to carry those belief systems around is just not beneficial for you. So getting outside of that and, like, changing the dynamics of, you know, how you approach things is very beneficial. I'm going to end off here with belief systems because I think it's really important to do so. I need to make it very clear again. Belief systems are just belief systems. They are either serving you or they are limiting you. That's just the way that it is. You either have a belief that you are capable of creating whatever the fuck it is that you want, or you have the belief, by the way, that one serves you, or you have the belief that you are incapable of creating anything, and that you're just a fucking unworthy piece of shit. That's just the way that it is. By the way, both are belief systems, and they're just that. And it's kind of like the whole idea of, you know, what is it, Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's just belief system. That's all it is.